Hello, oracles. Well, what I feared was going to potentially happen did end up happening. The excitement and pop that we got yesterday from Nvidia's earnings was very short lived. We saw that pop early this morning, and then we sold off as the day went on, ended up finishing down just under 3% for Tesla stock. Nvidia fell with it, the entire market fell today as well. Now, we were discussing earlier this week that we might see that pop, and then with the Jackson Hole Symposium going on, that macro environment could just outweigh what was going on with Nvidia and with Tesla. And sure enough, we saw some of that today. Not a lot of news coming out from Jackson Hole, but again, we know August. We've mentioned it many a times before that we might get a pop in something here in August, but there's not a lot of volume to continue coming in to support that pop, and then we end up getting a sell off. This is what we saw today. We'll get into the charts, what we can see going forward from here, and we got some Cybertruck event news that came out. We will get into that and everything else in just a minute. All right, so looking at the charts, again down 2.88%, closing at 230.04. We are down just under 0.5% after hours at the time of this recording. So looking at the charts, again, we've been watching this downward trend right here, got this gap that comes down here to 217.58. And I was asking yesterday, are we going to stay above this? So the question is, we've got to close above this line and stay there. So we bounced above it intraday and then closed within it during that day 2 days ago. Yesterday we closed above it. Today we started above it and then closed back inside of it. So from here, this could end up being a dead cat bounce. We're coming down, bounced up, and then may just continue falling down, get back into this downward channel. Maybe we consolidate, but there's nothing really right now that's telling me we're going to consolidate. Like the Cybertruck information that we're going to go over in a minute wasn't anything major. So it's not like it's going to be something that's going to, spark the price. Obviously it came out yesterday and we boosted with Nvidia, but it wasn't anything that was sustainable. So from here, I don't know. I mean, obviously anything can happen, but just knowing we're still in August, getting into September, we might end up just bouncing back down into this downward channel. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Now, looking at the RSI, we are at 41. We have seen it happen before. We would go from oversold, bounce up, and then kind of come back into oversold. We'll see if we can find it back here. It happened when we were in overbought stage too at one point. Yeah, so back here, now this is November of last year, but it's happened. So again, oversold. We came up, bounced, got to 43, almost to the midpoint, and then came right back down again. Didn't make it back up to it. And I mean, heck, look at this one back in December when we were really beat down. RSI of 15.43, extremely oversold at these points. So again, RSI is just one indicator that I go by. But looking at all of these gaps here, now I know everybody doesn't like when I talk about them, but after we had that massive drop, 114, 122, 133, 146, all of these gaps on the way back up are gaps that could potentially be getting filled if we get to a point where the economy does tank hard. So I don't think that those are going to fill unless we see a massive issue with the macro environment, but that's still potentially on the table. So I just mentioned it. That's all. Again, I would love to see the stock run. I'd love to buy at better prices, but I don't want to see it crash. However, it's something that is a potential. All right, so the Tesla Cybertruck news. Sawyer Merritt posts out breaking. Tesla has launched a new Cybertruck delivery event invite referral program award. You can go to the Cybertruck delivery event in Austin if you complete 3 referrals, which will earn you enough credits to redeem for an invite with a +1. So the event is coming. Obviously, we knew it was coming. So now they're doing these referral programs. So if you have a Tesla, those of you who know, you've got the referral program. You get the referral, you get the credits for that referral. You can use those for supercharging, t-shirts, merchandise, a whole bunch of other things. Now you can redeem those for an invite to the Cybertruck event. And now, in an article put out by notebookcheck.net, I do not know how reliable this source is, so please take this with a massive grain of salt. However, they put out an article stating the first Cybertruck trim priced from $75,000 as Tesla preps for delivery to select few at launch event. They speak about the same thing we just talked about, the 30,000 referral credits to get into the event. Tesla has reportedly chosen a few, quote, high visibility personalities to announce its first Cybertruck deliveries during a planned launch event in, quote, 3 to 4 weeks, where it would also reveal the Cybertruck price. Those lucky people who will be the first to own a Cybertruck have apparently been told to prepare for pricing in the, quote, mid to high 70s, or starting from about 75,000 US dollars. As they state, this Cybertruck price is way above the $40,000 that Elon Musk teased when announcing Tesla's first electric pickup truck almost 4 years ago, or even above the $60,000 starting tag that analysts are now forecasting. The first Cybertruck deliveries, however, are going to industry influencers, and they will reportedly all get premium all-wheel drive trims, so at a later date when Tesla releases a rear-wheel drive Cybertruck option, it could be priced much lower still. They also state that many Tesla centers around the country will receive 5 or 6 early production units to distribute after the launch event 2 of the type that has been spotted crossing the distance from Giga Texas to Fremont on trailers since this past week. The source confirms that Tesla is assembling about 10 Cybertrucks a day now with the help of some manual labor to speed up the process. So again, the validity of this article I am not certain of, but we obviously have seen a lot of trailers that are going out there with Cybertrucks everywhere. Now, for me, again, I have a new delivery center that's going to be coming up at the casino right down the road from me. I would love to have them have a Cybertruck there. They very well might. It's a casino. So I will take a look and see if they have one. But if this is true here, $75,000 for the very top end trim isn't really all that terrible. That means that that's under the $80,000 mark when it comes to the EV tax credit, and every trim below that will be lower priced. Obviously, they can work on the pricing as they get themselves up to scale and the cost of goods comes down. So we will see what ends up going on with this. We will see how true this is. But them saying that this is going to be 3 to 4 weeks away makes sense because many people were thinking end of September, beginning of October for this event. Pricing is relatively close to what some people were thinking as well. And honestly, it's not that much higher than what we had anticipated, considering we originally thought we were going to be getting a single, a dual, and a tri-motor. So the top end trim could actually be maybe a plaid version or a quad motor. So again, a lot of this needs to be confirmed. We don't have it yet. Elon did say the details are coming soon. He is now driving around what is going to be the actual production vehicle. So they're starting to do this. It's coming, obviously. And as we've talked about, we knew it was going to be a very slow ramp for this. Elon said it himself. So again, this coming out, exciting news. Obviously, this is something we've all been anticipating. No confirmed details from Tesla yet, but it sounds like we will probably get those details at the delivery event, and that should be coming within the next month. And so going back to what I had mentioned earlier about, if the macro environment does actually collapse, the information we're gathering from individual companies now is going to be very important for our investing future. So I posted out, if we are going to see a bigger dip in the overall market in the next 6 months, these are the times we can see a great buying opportunity for some stocks. Right now, we are seeing what companies could be the strongest winners coming out of it. Companies like Tesla, Nvidia, AMD will be very strong. What other companies would you see being the strongest and in turn the best stocks to purchase on a massive market pullback? So again, we've seen it during the housing market. We saw that big COVID crash. We saw a big pullback last year. You see companies that, when we do see a big market pullback, the best companies come out the fastest and they come out the strongest. When you have to decide which companies those are going to be, take a look at right now. What are their financials? In difficult economic times, who is performing the best? Because if they get worse, they're still going to perform well, even if the stock price does not reflect it. And the companies that are not doing well are going to crumble entirely. When that happens and those companies go under, there's more room for these better companies to grow into. So that total addressable market grows because there's more of a market for them to be able to go into. They have more market penetration because that market space opened up even more. So you've got companies like Tesla. If you have a bunch of these startup EV companies that are out there that go under, more room for Tesla to grow into. Nvidia, AMD, both of these companies right now are pushing out as many chips as they possibly can. You go into a difficult economic time, some companies that are out there that maybe weren't purchasing, the chips and things like that because they were on the way out. They just didn't have the money to do this and upgrade. They go under. Newer companies come in that are going to fill that void. They're going to be upgrading. They're going to be newer and want that new technology. There comes more demand for Nvidia and AMD. There's a lot of companies that are like this out there. So if we get this pullback, could be very good for the economy in the long run. Near term, it's just painful. But we have that opportunity to see who is going to be the best coming out of this. So if you pay attention right now, like these companies, see who's out there. Now, again, I've been diving into a lot of dividend plays as well. So I've been increasing those because, again, if I'm anticipating this happening, I want that cash flow to be able to invest in these companies. And again, just as I posted, you guys can put in the comments below what companies you think would end up doing the best coming out of an economic collapse over the next 6 to 8 months. Because there's a lot that are out there and there's a lot of companies that could die. And, you don't want to be in those companies that are going to die, but you want to be ready to take advantage of those companies that are going to come out very strong. And so today I did make some adjustments to my dividend plays, made some changes here and there, adding some more in some different spots. Again, 2 weeks from now, I will be updating an entire video for my dividend strategy for all of you guys, all of my members and patrons. I will be getting that new spreadsheet out to you guys on Saturday morning. So you will see all of the changes that I have made. Very excited. I'm getting addicted to seeing the growth of free passive income coming in, not having to trade my time for money. So very excited about that. Just watching that piece grow makes me very happy. But again, I will be sharing that with you guys in a couple of weeks. And by then, I will have some really big changes that have happened. And I will have learned a lot. I've learned a lot in just the last week that I've really been focusing on this. So very excited to share with you guys. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.